Hello and welcome, y'all. Today is October 24th. It's a Friday. I feel like crying, and so instead of doing that right now, we are going to play in makeup. I was going to do two separate videos. One doing, well, not doing, but using what I call my Cobalt palette. This is a BYOP from MAC because this shade here is Cobalt, and I know that by looking at it. So this is my Cobalt MAC BYOP. So that was going to be one video after I did a base face using an oldie but still goodie Hourglass Lotus palette. I have not used it yet. It's been in my Mercari store, brand new, never used, and I said, you know what, it's just been sitting there, I'm going to use it. So this will be something else that we'll do. But now that I'm sitting here, I'm thinking to just do all of it in just one video. And the reason I thought to do two is because I do not have any content scheduled except live streams, and I wanted to have something for those of you to watch in between our live streams. And so, excuse me that this mirror is right here, and this is the highest up that the bracket goes for my phone in this position, and I could just put the mirror on the side like I do for live streams, but here we are. So this is going to be a very long video. We're just going to do it all in one. For the rest of October, which is only another week, we are scheduled for 3 lives, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For November, it's looking like we're going to be back to 2 live streams a week on Monday and Thursday, depending on how many member requested looks I receive from when I do the member exclusive Member Shop My Stash video. Well, actually that's done in the live stream. And because for the end of September, early October, I had, let me count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 member requests. And so we've been doing our member requested looks in live streams on Tuesday, because it was just Monday and Thursday for a long time. And so that gave us another live stream day. So we'll see. So yesterday, or was it early this morning? I really don't know. I'm nocturnal, so my days and nights are just mixed up. And it is trippy going to sleep and waking up on the same day, because usually you go to sleep and you wake up and then it's the next day. So sometimes I don't know what day it is, and not only because I'm nocturnal, but because I'm also retired, and so like every day is a weekend, every day is a holiday, and my days pretty much, you know, nothing usually unusual happens, and so it all just runs together. I'm trying to remember what I was saying all that for. So it is looking like, oh, when I was saying I put in my calendar, just as a memo to myself in my calendar, like what live streams to schedule, and there may or may not be some on Tuesday, because I do like having a day. I like the consistency of, okay, every Tuesday was a member requested look. I really do like consistency. I'm very much an organized person, and I just like things to make sense in my mind, and I have acknowledged before that my mind can be a scary place. So there's that. So I think I'm going to do the intro. Before I do that though, I feel like I have some redundancy with looks for this month, and I understand why, because I have more troll play looks to do in preparation for an event that I'm working on, Halloween. And so there's going to be a few more like zombie looks, you know, just different types of troll play looks. I'm excited to do like a high fashion editorial Halloween look, and those are like the cutesy things, and y'all know I don't like cutesy, and so that'll be new for me to do. And yeah, so we're just going to roll with it through the rest of October. I will put timestamps below if I remember to do so that if you don't want to see the rest of this base face that I'm going to do, you can skip to when we're using the Lotus palette, or you can skip to me using my MAC BYOP, and we'll just kind of just go from there. Of course, I would love for you to stay, watch all of what I do, but it is not a requirement, and you will not be quizzed. So only you will know. I'll know from analytics, like average watch time, but I won't know like who did what, which is really kind of cool in a way. So you can do what you do and be anonymous. So I usually do my brows quicker. When I talk, I tend to do makeup slower. I do my brows first. Some people do them last, and I'm just like, For me, they help frame my face and where my eyeshadow is going to go. But there are some people who do them first. And what I find interesting, I mean, each person has their own way of doing things. I'm thinking of Hung Vango. He does the face first, he does the brows. The eyeshadow is the last that he does, I believe. And whereas Natasha Denona, she does the eyes first and all of that, and then she goes back to do the face. And so it's just interesting. And of course, they both do like fabulous looks. And if you don't know, in my mind, Hung Vango is my man. But and I know it's only in my mind. So it's just a fun game I play with myself. Yeah, I am enthralled with him and his technique and his videos. If you have not watched anything from Hung Vango, go to his channel and watch his stuff. I promise you, you will be amazed. He's very easy to listen to. He's very informative. He has a teaching format to what he does, and I don't think he intends to, but that's just how he does his makeup. He explains, what he's using, why he's using it. He talks about face shape, undertone, and things like that. And I learned so much from just watching him. So we're going to put on eye cream. We're going to do the intro. The same eye cream I've been using. Oh, it's not pumping. Oh, because it dried up in the nozzle. That's unusable. So I have my makeup trash over here. So we're just going to wipe that on a paper towel that was in my makeup trash. So we're going to go into the intro. Hello again. Did I even say hello the first time? My name is Dion. I call this the crazy troll nation of YouTube. Why do I call it that? It's a crazy concept. It's okay to be your authentic self in a world where people will tell you who and how you should be. The troll part is not caring too much about the beauty community standards. You set the standard for yourself. Try not to feel like you need to use a certain brand or a certain tool or a certain technique because that's what they're telling you in whatever video you're watching. Listen, use whatever you want to, however you want to get your makeup on in a way that you are satisfied with it. You set the standard for yourself. The bottom line here at the Crazy Troll Nation is self-acceptance and self-love, embracing your natural features, enhancing them if you want to, when you want to, but never feeling like you have to. Love yourself for who you are and for how you look, even when you're not wearing face paint. So that's what the Crazy Troll Nation motto is. That's what we stand for here. And hopefully that resonates with you, especially if you wear makeup. And even if you don't, just love yourself for who you are, period, and be your authentic self. If you wear makeup, love yourself for who you are when you wear makeup and when you don't. Because some people, I've heard them say, I don't feel put together if I don't have on mascara and lipstick. I don't feel put together if this or with that. You're together. You're fine the way you are. You're beautiful the way you are. And I do believe it is the capitalism aspect of consumerism where some of us feel like we have to do a certain thing. And it's like, no, you don't. If you want to do it, but not because you feel like that's what makes you acceptable. You're acceptable just by being you. And there is a legitimate concern that, if I really stand on my morals, if I really hold to what I believe in, if I stop caring so much what other people think, some people are not going to like me anymore. And that's valid. Check this out, though. Would you rather people like you for you pretending to be who they want you to be, or do you want people to like you and love you and accept you for who you are? That is the question. And, your people will find you. And it can be scary for those of us who have external locus of control to go against the grain and do something that we know somebody else might not approve of. Your life is your life, to live how you see fit. And it is very much a learning lesson, because we're raised, be nice, make friends. But then as you get older, you realize, everybody's not nice. And so, people place expectations on us for how they think we should be, how we should live our life. And as children, we learn that, right? Our parents teach us, don't do this, don't do that, do this, do that. And then as we become older, as we start to mature, it's sometimes like, well, wait a minute, who am I? And when people say, and I don't have children, so take whatever I say about kids with a grain of salt or a bucket of salt or a whole cargo ship full of salt. But I always hear, oh yeah, they're at that age where, they're going to be really rebellious or this or that. Is it really them being rebellious? I say yes, because they're going against what you taught them, and they're learning who they are as a person. And sometimes people don't like who we're becoming. And for me, it's learning who you are as a person. And so being rebellious, when they say, what they're really saying is, oh, they're not doing what I think they should do anymore. And some of it can look destructive. For me, I started cutting school, started hanging out. But was I really just being rebellious to just be like a bad child? No, I was learning who I was. And so it is challenging, because, as children, good boy, good girl, we want to hear that. And we know, even if it's subconscious, we know that there's certain things that we need to do or don't do to get that good girl or good boy, or wow, you did great, versus why the hell did you do that? Oh, I forgot when I did my intro. At the end of my intro, I do say that I do curse sometimes, because I curse sometimes. And also there's an organism that lives in my throat that randomly hiccups, gurgles, and belches. And I do try to be aware of it to say, excuse me. So, and even as adults, and even being here in the beauty space on YouTube, when, I watch, some creators and, they're apologizing if, their hair isn't done that day. It's like, who really cares? But there is somebody that will say, oh, I don't like how you did your hair, or this or that. And usually people who are critical, of content they watch, 9 times out of 10 is someone who doesn't even do content. So they have like no idea of how it feels to be on here and to put ourselves out here on the internet where things live forever. Even if you delete your video, you don't know if somebody downloaded it before that. You know what I mean? And if they downloaded it, they can still have access to that. They can upload it wherever they want to. And I know this sounds scary, but it's true. Yeah, things live forever on the internet. And even if you scrub your hard drive, there's a hacker somewhere that can dig into your hard drive and find fragments and find information that you thought that you had hid. Yeah, so when they say things live forever on the internet, like, it really does. So I find it sad when I'm watching videos and people are explaining things. Like, I explain, why I'm doing what I'm doing with makeup, because I'm doing a makeup video. And usually after a look, I'll say what I don't like about it, what I do like about it, especially if it's a troll play look. Those are the ones I call creative looks, not typical makeup looks. And I'm just like, it's just like, just be who you are. Like, if you're, and I'll say this, if you're that person that's going to be that critical of somebody else's content, or you're going to see a look and say, oh, that's nice, but I wish you would do such and such, keep it to yourself. People do what you want to do. Like, think about what the motto is here. Wear what you want to wear and just rock it. And even though, it is nice to hear, or I like that look, I'm not here for validation. I'm not here for unsolicited advice. Like, I'm critical enough of myself to not be like, oh, I wonder what, this random person who doesn't even do content is going to say. And I'm not saying this to be mean, and I admit that I am feeling some kind of way. I am grieving, for those who don't know. And so my emotions they fluctuate very wildly. And so it's only been less than a week. But yeah, and so I know that I'm not my usual self, even though those of you who watch me on a regular basis, you're like, oh, you always act like this. I will say yes. I say what I mean what I say. I can just feel a difference within myself with how my mood is. And so I do still try to just... And it is challenging. Like I said when I first started, I felt like crying. And I said, no, you know what? Let's just do this look. And instead of 2 separate videos, do the base face and then do the eye. Let's just do it all together. Because y'all know I do long videos anyway. So, like, girl, just go for it. So we're going to jump into the Lotus palette. So you notice I didn't do any bronzer, blush, highlighters. I have my labels in here. So this is Gilded, it's a highlighter. This is Desert Flush, that's a blush. This is Eternal Light, which is a finishing powder. And I do have this as a single. And so part of me was wondering, do I want to keep the single Eternal Light or just come to this one when I want it, as if I remember what it is? Because this one with the other one I have and the 2 that I purchased for me, that makes 4 of these. And so will I remember that Eternal Light is in the Lotus palette? I think not. And plus, I like the single compact. I'm just going to grab one, and actually this is it. Because it's so big, right? I can use a big fluffy brush and get the product and put it all over my face pretty quickly or strategically, because it does make me toasty. So I don't put it all over. I just put it in certain places. And for this, I would need to use a smaller brush. And so I do like the single compact, and I have 5 of them. I have 5 of them. This here is Radiant Rose. It's a highlight. This is Red O, which is a blush. This is Bronze Heat, which they say is a bronzer. We're going to see. So we have 2 highlights, 2 blushes, finishing powder, bronzer. And what I found interesting is every palette, the configuration is different, because I'm like, why not put like all the highlighters here, all the blushes here, and the bronzer down here makes sense to me, depending, because most people, they'll do highlighter, blush, bronzer. I tend to do bronzer, blush, and highlighter. But I realized a couple of videos ago that the configuration is not the same. And some of them don't have 2 highlighters. And it's interesting to me that this, excuse me for that glare, is a highlighter, because usually they're like the more glowy golden type. So this will be interesting. And so, but I do like, 2 highlighters, 2 blushes, finishing powder, bronzer. And I kind of thought, like, why not always put the finishing powder down here in the corner? Because finishing powder is the last powder you put on your face. And usually it is in one of these 2 spots. But I do like the configuration of this. And it is easy to remember, 2 highlighters, 2 blushes, finishing powder, bronzer. But again, this is the finishing powder. Why not have it down here? But we're going to get into it. I am also going to start using, I believe, these Sigma brushes, because these will almost fit in here. The brushes I purchased, the Blend Bunny brushes I purchased, they don't quite fit. Almost, but not quite. And the almost is because they are a little tapered, even though they don't look like it. And I also do have other, Sigma brushes that I may use for this one. I might use this as well, because this almost really kind of fits in there. But we are going to... How many of these brushes do I want to take out? To see how things work, to see what happens. I'm going to have a lot of brushes to wash. And sometimes I do just use this Scott Barnes brush for bronzer, blush, and highlighters. This is the Scott Barnes number 64. And that's the one we use for our setting powder. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to use everything in here. Okay? Yeah. So... we're going to, I think I want to take another brush for the bronzer shade. And these are all Sigma brushes. This is the Soft Sculpt F11. So we're going to start with the bronzer. And that is down here. And it does kind of fit. I've seen some people, and like the intro, use what you want however you want to. They just take a fluffy brush and just go around the whole entire palette and put it on their face. And it does look pretty. I'm not going to get into why I like these but don't love them, because I went off on that in another video. And if you've been here, you already know how I feel. But the formula is phenomenal. And so this is Eternal Light, which ironically I don't use it. No, this is Bronze Heat. This is the bronzer. I am light to medium complexion. I'm guessing. I'm still trying to find how to describe my complexion, because for years and years and years, I said I was tan. And my chosen family big sis was like, she was like, sis, I hate to break it to you, but you're not tan. And I'm like, what? And when I talked about it in the video, some people were like, yeah, I never considered you to be tan. And I'm like, why nobody ain't tell me? And so I'm still trying to figure out like where I am. Light to medium. I do know I'm light for a person of color. I do know that. I do have some Cuban in me. I do have some indigenous in me. I do have some European mixtures in my DNA. My freckles are cute. Usually that foundation covers more of my freckles, or I'm just more aware of it because one of the member requests was to exaggerate my freckles. And since then, I've been noticing them more even under the foundation. So this is the bronzer. It is pretty. We are now going to, we have two blushes. We're going to use both the blushes. And we have two highlighters. So we're going to take, and I do like a gradient with blushes, the same with bronzers. And so sometimes I'll use two bronzers, two blushes, two highlighters, two finishing powders. And so this is not strange for me. And by gradient, I mean have a darker shade back here and like a lighter shade up here. So we're going to take Red O, and this Sigma brush fits in here quite nicely. This is a F08 Precision Powder Brush. And this is the one you see me use a lot for foundation. And I decided to stop using it for that because they're becoming harder to look like they're clean when I wash them. And one of them in particular has started to fray very badly. No, not fray. Not fray. Should. And they do have a 2-year guarantee. And I was just going to let it go because I am hard on my brushes, particularly when I'm washing them, you know, making sure I get all the soap and water out. But somebody was like, oh, you just contact them. They do have the guarantee for a reason. So I may do that. And so I did purchase two of, this is pretty. I did purchase two Makeup Forever foundation brushes. They look to be the paddle brushes, and I'm not used to paddle brushes. I do just like brushes. And they are brushes, so that might not make sense to some of you. This is really pretty. And I'm hoping I like them. So I did look at some videos, and the 106, I believe it was, is the one that they were opting for over the 108. The 108 is the same style brush, it's just larger. And so they were saying if they had to choose, they would get the 106. And so I ordered two of those. We're going to put that brush away. We're going to take a clean one and we're going to go into Desert Flush, this one right here. And this brush works nice in here. And we're going to put this here. And so you see what I mean about a gradient. So you have the darker shade here, and then it just flows into the lighter shade. This is a light shade. And the other Hourglass palette that was sitting in my Mercari store that I took out, I'm looking at it like, is that going to be enough for me as far as how I like, you know, my blush to look? And then I'm thinking, since I'm using sometimes, you know, two blushes. One look I did, y'all, I used 5 blushes. And I will credit that to Janessa J. Champagne. We've done quite a few collabs. Go to my collab playlist, and if you want to see the collabs I've done with her and with other people. And she always says, I don't use one blush, I use 6 blushes. And it was ironic because I was already using 2 bronzers for almost like every look. And then I started doing the 2 blushes and then the 2 highlighters. And yeah, so it was really cool. So you see what I mean? So it's lighter here, and then it gradients to the darker shade. Or if you're back here, it gradients to a lighter shade. I don't think this on its own would be enough for me unless I just wanted just a there, not there look. This would be a blush that I cannot go wrong with because it is there, but it's very not there. It's there, not there. But it is pretty, and I do like that gradient. I really do. So that is that. So now we just have the 2 highlighters and then the finishing powder. So I'm going to take out another highlighter brush. I have 2 of these. This is also Sigma. This is High Cheekbone Highlighter. Why am I reading like that? High Cheekbone Highlighter brush. This is, excuse me, the F03. And I do like their soft collection brushes. I do have 2 of those. And so we're going to take Radiant Rose first. This is surprising to me as a highlighter, like just the tone of it. But we're going to put this up here. I'm sure it's there, but because I see it down here, but up here, I have to straighten my eyes to look over to see. So we're just going to put this like right here. That is pretty. Yeah, this may be a blush light for me versus a highlighter, because my highlighter I do sometimes usually bring like to here, and I don't know if I would like this there. So we're going to put that brush away, and we're going to take the clean one and go into Gilded. And I think this one said Gilded Strobe Light or something, but I shortened it so I can get everything on here. So we're going to take this one and we're going to put this one down. Oh, this one down here. Y'all, they're highlighters though. Especially these goldish ones. One of theirs, I don't know if it was Fox or Swan, but the highlighter, I didn't like the undertone of it. But when I just put just a little bit like here, I liked it. But when I did all of this, I was like, whoa, like that. So again, we have a gradient. We have, what was it? Radiant Rose here, and then we have Gilded. Okay, oh, that's yeah. This is the brush we had, the setting powder that we use for our setting powder. If you ever go too bright with anything on your face, or too dark as far as your blush, highlighter, or your bronzer, well, not that your highlighter would be too dark, but if it's too bright for you, go back with the brush you use for your finishing powder and just buff that out. I do, oh Lord, I do that, whoa. And I know some people use these on their face, but I mean on their eyes, but then I also hear people say they don't last on your eyes because of the formula, because of the consistency of it, that it's going to fade quickly. But if you're going somewhere just for like a couple hours, then yeah, it'll work for that. And yes, I know there's like a line up here, but we're going to get rid of that. So now we're going to take, oh, the only thing left to use is Eternal Light. That is not a finishing powder for me. I'm going to put this brush away because it does make me toasty. So I'm going to put that brush away. So I'm going to show you what I do with Eternal Light. And it is a finishing powder, but for me it's not, because it makes me toasty. So what I do with Eternal Light, I usually just put some, where people highlight their face, I tend to put it on the center of my forehead, the center of my chin, and I may very lightly, just feather it, very, very lightly. Just feather it across my cheek area. And so that's what I'll do with that. And yeah, so we're going to take, I do also like Eternal Light on the perimeter of my face. Is this the one we need for that? Yeah. So we're going to take more of that. We're going to put it here. So using it sort of like a contour, even though it says it's a finishing powder, but because of the color of it for me, I can use it for other stuff. And, you know, use their powders however you want to. I do try them first how they say, and then I figure out how I want to use them. We are going to take, Luminous Light. This is one of the ones I have in a single compact, and we're going to take another one of those brushes. This was the F11 soft scope, and I have 4 of these, I think. So we're going to take Luminous Light, and I do put this under my eyes, and it does it is luminous, as you can see. And so we're going to take this here. I could have used a bigger brush. So we're swiping both sides, and I don't put these on my nose. I do think I have a big nose. I've seen some bigger, I've seen some smaller, but I don't highlight my nose because highlighting it just brings more attention to it. And I do accept my features. I know it's there. I like it the way it is without making it look bigger. So this is our base face. So let's do some pictures. It is pretty. It is gorgeous. Oh, let me hold this up too for the gallery. So Lotus. And we're going to open it. I don't know how people be, my fingers be looking crazy. So this is for the gallery. Thank you for bearing with me with that. Everything in here does work for me, as you see. My thoughts, my complexion are lighter, go for it. This is from last year. So whoever has it, or whoever wanted it, I'm sure they already have it by now. So, and if you are looking for it, you know, check Mercari. I have never shopped on Poshmark because Poshmark, I'm gonna just say it. To me, it looks like a thrift store. And the few times I have gone on there, I was just like, what is this trash? Like, I say how I feel, that's what it looked like to me. So yeah, I'm a Mercari person. My Mercari store only has a few things in it. Also another brush that would be good for the compacts. Forgive me for backtracking. I'm like, where did I put that already? Would be a Real Techniques brush. This one is the 200. And I do like this for foundation too, because this would fit in the pan, if you can see. Yeah, I like for things to be easy. And I don't like double-sided brushes. I purchased a snake brush a year when it came out, whatever year Snake came out. Their snake palette. And I purchased a brush because I'm like, oh, that'll be really nice. You know, you have a brush that is the same design as the front of the palette. Y'all, that brush was trash. I said it. It was very lightweight. It was like $50-something too. It was very lightweight. It just felt like, you know, cheap aluminum. And it also didn't even, the bristle part didn't even fit in the palette. So I'm like, why put out a brush for, well, with this palette and it doesn't even fit into the pan? Like, to me, that just didn't make sense. And I do see quite a few people that have it and use it, but I don't hear many people talk about it. And I believe I returned it. I have primer in my eyebrow. I returned it. I'm like, that is just too much money for that. Lightweight. The bristles were pokey, and I do have sensitive skin, so it might have just been me. But I returned it. I'm like, oh hell no. And I do have a review on it. I do have an Hourglass Cosmetics playlist if you want to see what I've done with their stuff that I've had in the past and the things that I have now. I have a playlist for almost every brand. If you want an overall playlist, each brand has like Natasha Denona, haul, and other fun stuff. And then I have playlists for each palette. And so I do that for the majority of brands I have. The one that I did not do, that I started to do, was Spellcast Beauty. It's the sister brand of Notoriously Morbid. I do have a 15% off code down below for them. Dion Loves 15. Loves is with a U. Because I do the swatch party and then I do looks with it, and because a lot of their some of their palettes are 6-pan, 9-pan, and so it's only so many looks that I do. And so Spellcast Beauty did have its own playlist and not one for each palette, but lately I have been giving them their own playlist because there are more pans in the palette. I do more looks with that palette, and so I wanted to separate those out. But everything else has its own. So Cobalt, because this shade is Cobalt. What are we going to do? This is Power to the Purple, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, this one I had before. It became very dry very quickly, well, in about a year. Excuse me. So I went into the store and purchased a new one. And so what am I going to do? What am I going to do? This is a nice grunge roll. This adds a pop, so it's not quite grunge, but I'm thinking I have no plan. What we're going to start with, we're going to take this shade right here. The labels are on the back. Hi, my name is Dion. I'm a label hoe. I'm a Pensy hoe. I'm a brush hoe. There's another hoe that I'm forgetting. But we're going to take this shade. But I'm just going to keep it moving instead of going back and forth to tell you what the names of the shadows are. MAC to me is still that OG. I love their cream products. I have a ton, not a ton. I have at least off the top of my head, maybe 7 of their palettes. Their soft sculpt palettes and their cream products. And I do have their foundation palette, which I love. But MAC, if you're watching this, the darkest shade in that foundation palette is maybe for a medium deep complexion. If anybody's deeper than that, they cannot use that foundation palette unless they go into one of the concealer and sculpt palettes for a deep dark brown shade or a black brown shade to mix with one of the foundation shades to get the color that they need. So what I would love for y'all to do, MAC Cosmetics, if you're watching this, which I doubt, but if you are, that darkest shade in the lower right hand corner of the foundation palette, start that as the first shade in a deep dark foundation palette, because then you'll have from the lightest to the light to the darkest to the deep. So that's what I suggest, because I'm just like, okay, this brand is for professional makeup artists, but this foundation palette will not work for anyone deeper than medium deep unless they go into another palette for a cream to mix with something in the foundation palette. So that's, and I do have stuff I can mix it with. But if you're going to do a foundation palette, okay, have one for light to medium, which that one is, and everything in there works for me because look at what I look like. But deeper than me, it can be challenging. We're going to do this bottom row because I'm feeling gloomy. So we're going to do gloomy and grunge. We're going to go in this shade because I don't remember what it looks like. And this one is a satin. This one is not. So that'll be interesting too. And I do sometimes, you know, mix formulas. Like usually, you know, it's only shimmer on the lid. I will put a matte on the lid. This is showing up like a satin, or maybe because I overlapped it with that first shade. That's pretty. So it's like a there, not there, but in person it shows up more than what I'm seeing. Yeah, when I come over here to blend it, it is dragging over that first shade. So that's what's making it look like it has a little bit of sheen to it, and I like it. So I do really like their cream products. I love also the Makeup Forever cream face palettes. And you know, I have all but one, and I don't need them all. But I'm like, these are amazing. So the ones that I had not opened yet, I did take them out of my kit because I condensed my kit. And the first 2 that I purchased, I'm like, these will be the only 2 that I need because it's very easy to mix cream products to get the shade that you want. But I loved it so much, I ended up just getting more and more. So I have all but one, and the one I don't have, they're always out of stock. And of course, it would be the one medium to deep because, yeah, people want to use your stuff, and everybody's not like the medium. We're going to take this shade, and this is going to be monochromatic, as you can tell. This is a pretty shade. This is pretty. Their foundation palette, oh, this is nice. This is reminding me of a look I've done with a Notoriously Morbid palette, but I don't know which one right now I'm thinking about. Their foundation palette did work for me. I was able to use it for foundation, for concealer, for bronzing, for highlighter. I was able to use that for my entire face. And I'm just like, wow, like this is amazing. But again, look at my complexion. And that's what highlighted for me. Like, yeah, they need to come out with one darker. Start with the darkest shade in this palette and then go deeper from there. And I used it on a friend of mine. She was going to a formal dinner. And so I did her makeup, and I used that palette. She was like, oh my gosh, this is beautiful. And someone else I used it on. And because it's 12 different shades, and I did label like up here, like what's what and on the outside, so I know what it is. And it's the clear top like this one too. I usually don't have to mix when I use that palette. And so I'm like, oh, let's just try this shade on, because I held it up to her face and I'm looking at it and I'm like, let's try this one. I put it on, y'all. You couldn't even see it. It just evened out everything, but it did not look like she had foundation on. And she was looking like, oh my gosh. She's like, this is gorgeous. I'm like, Makeup Forever. That OG. We're going to, did we do that one? Inner lid, this shade. Okay, we did this first, second, third. Why am I thinking we used this green? Let me look at that brush. No, we didn't. That's this shade. So we're going to take this one. And, yeah, we're going to put this here. This is a Esom V0, no, it's a V27. This one is an Hourglass number 3. And these other two are also V27s. The black handle ones with the, the angled bristles, those are the newer ones. The silver ferrule ones, and where the bristles are not angled, those are the older ones. And I did not need any more because I have like 8 of these or more of the silver ferrule ones. But I love an angled brush, and so I think I have 4 of those. At least 4 of the newer ones. Yeah. I said I'm a brush up. Did y'all think I was joking? And I'm laughing because I'm looking at brushes now. Sigma's forever having sales, 25% off, and I'm like, I have no brushes, and I just finally wrapped up my Scott Barnes brush giveaway, meaning I finally mailed out the prizes to the 2 winners. So I'm getting rid of brushes, and then I'm looking at more brushes. And so it's like I go through phases because I like certain brushes for certain things, but then when something else comes along, I'm like, ooh, that's nice. We're going to take the brush that had this shade on there, the shade before this one, and we're going to just blend this out, buff it out, because it does look a little harsh, especially compared to this side. So let's just do this. Let's make this side look like the other side. Yeah, I can see that line right here. Do I care that much about it? No, I do not. I really don't. Because it's still cute. That's because I'm cute. Y'all just know who you are and just rock what you want to. And if you do content and people are leaving, oh, it'd be nice if you did this. Thank them for supporting your channel. Because as I said, you know, I'm not here for validation or for unsolicited advice, but there are some people on here who are seeking validation, and I can tell by how they say things, and their consistency with whatever it is that they're saying. And I think it's sad because everybody's not going to like everything, and if you're here for validation, you're going to get your feelings hurt. We're going back to this shade. You will get your feelings hurt. If you're here for validation, eventually you're going to get your feelings hurt. I'm liking how this is lighter down here, so that's why I went to this side after I put some more over here. I like that. This is a very easy, very nice look. We're going to take this one. This is still a V27. And I want to just go straight into this one, but I'm thinking we're going to do this one first. It's a little bit lighter. This look is very, what am I thinking about? What palette am I thinking about that this look reminds me of, like this Color Story? Yeah, this is why I like angled brushes, y'all. Look at this. And these MAC shadows, like how easy was that just to do that quick? So we just tapped in a few times, tap off, and because it is well, most brushes do have like an edge, well, not an edge, but it's like a straight line, like it's not a rounded brush, and I just come on the line and then feather inward towards the shade before it, and then I use the top of it, the flat part. Look at that, y'all, come on now. And if you want to use just the tip of it, you know, just to get that line up here, then you can do that. Y'all, I love me some angled brushes. I am just placing and pressing. Look at that, y'all. Wow. We are going to take that deeper shade. So this is just getting our shape. And I've been doing that with clients lately too, where I do a lighter shade than I plan to use and do the shape. And then I'll go back with a darker shade. Sometimes it interferes with building up the color if I have a lighter shade and then I put a darker shade on top of it versus just putting a darker shade and it'll just be what it is. I'm wondering if I want to take, we're going to use this brush. I'm going to take out another one though. Oh, my stomach just flipped. This is the E45 from Sigma. We're going to, I'm thinking I don't want to take this fluffy brush. But we're going to take this fluffy brush, go into this darker shade, and we're going to just do like an outer V. So we're staying inside of where that previous shade is. And so honestly, I think a flat shader brush or even like another one of these would have been perfect for this, or a smaller brush, something like, you know, one of these to just really have that sharp outer V. But because this is tapered, it is doing what I wanted to do. So you see how that is. We're going to blend a little bit outward to where that first brown was. Ooh. We're tapping in 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and we're using just the tip of the brush. Y'all, MAC is still it. MAC is still it. And I don't use these often for no particular reason, just using other stuff that I have. But damn, but when I do use them, I'm just like, whoa. Like this, I think I'm gonna use brown on the upper lash line. I know, I'm boring today. I didn't do my inner rims. So this is kind of the look, y'all. We got two more things to do. We're gonna take this brush. I think we're gonna do this one, which is a little off-colored, considering we just have like those muted, swampy shades on the lid. But we're gonna just put this not up to the brow, but like right here. I love this E45 brush because of how I do my makeup. It allows me to get the shadow right where I want it. That is pretty. So we're just tapping in, just using the tip of the brush, and we're just going to bring that on the top edge of the lid shades, and yeah, the top edge, and so that'll help us blend. So we're going to tapping straight in. I also have the E49, which is bigger than this one, but because I don't do typical transition and then do the crease, that brush is too big for me, because this is where my transition shade goes. So that did take care of that line we had. Y'all, this is pretty. This is pretty. Wow. Thank you for being here with me. I think I'm gonna fix lunch after this. So we have one more thing to do for the upper. And we're going to take this shade and we're going to put this. We used a lot of shades. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is the 8th shade from this palette. And we're just going to put this right under the brow, going up to the arch, and then over just a little bit. Y'all see that? It is subtle, but it's just like, oh, she's cute. Is that the right one? Yeah. If not, I'll know it when I put it on. Y'all, MAC's newer stuff doesn't appeal to me, so maybe I'm just an old school MAC girl. And a lot of these I got down at the CCO. CCO is Company Cosmetic Outlet. CCS is Company Cosmetic Store. And everything in that store is under the Estee Lauder brand. And I forget how many brands are in the Estee Lauder wheelhouse, and when I go in there, I'm like, Bobbi Brown, Clinique, other stuff. I'm just like, what? And I'm like, oh yeah. So we're going to come back to this for sure for our lower lash line. So I did take out 2 Matte Color XS gel pencil eyeliners. We're going to take Pool Sharp. We're going to put this on our inner rims. Usually I do inner rims and lower lash line after I do my base, and I didn't do it this time. While I'm thinking about it, let me take out mascara, because sometimes y'all do forget my upper lash line, and sometimes I do forget mascara. I don't know why, but you know what it is? Because sometimes I like the look so much and I'm so excited about it that I just forget to do all the things. That's really what it is. And that's what makes it funny to me sometimes. Not in a ha-ha way. Just in an ironic way. When people say, oh, I don't feel put together unless I have on mascara. Sometimes I forget my mascara. I mean, I'll do pictures and everything, and then I'll be like, wait a minute. I didn't do mascara. Oh, well. Just won't be any for that look. If you do content, if you do beauty-related content, it is a thing, you know, do what your viewers want to see. I don't follow trends at all. So there's a thing, you know, do content that will get views. At the same time, do content you want to do, because you'll end up in a rat race if you're just strictly just chasing views For me, I want being here to be enjoyable and to be fun. And sitting in this station, at my station, is one of my happy places. And so I don't want to get caught up in just doing, what other people want me to do, or, reading comments and they're like, oh, you should do this. And then I'm really believing, yeah, I need to do that. That's just one person out of how many people that says something. And again, it's usually people who don't do videos at all, let alone beauty content. So it's like, why are you telling me what you think I need to do? It's because of other things they're hearing other content creators say. And that goes back to the intro. Don't pay too much attention to beauty community standards, because when people see the same thing for so long, they really believe, even if it's subconscious, they really believe that's how it should be. And those are the ones that'll say, oh, you should do that, you should do this. And because you're not conforming to the norm or what's right. What's right is what you want to do. The shade we put on Inner Realms is Pool Shark, and this is the color of it. This one is The Last Word, and that's the color of that. So that's on lower lash line. I love punking out a look with upper lash line liner. And some people don't like that either, because this is my Lethal Cosmetics Water Activated bundle. And so some of these colors, people are like, oh, you shouldn't use that color eyeliner. And I'm like, shh, I do the looks I like. And so because it's not usual. And when I find a channel where they do different looks than the mainstream, I'm just like, yeah, give me more of that. There was a black one that came in a bundle, but this is a 9-pan. The bundle was 10, and I seldom use a black for upper lash line. And so I need to still do lower lash line. Let me do lower lash line, and then we're going to come back and figure out what we're going to do for upper lash line. So for lower lash line, do I want to just use these fluffy brushes? I think, yeah, these both are the ones we use for our outer corner, and one we use for our transition shade. I don't know which is which, because I'm trying to see what colors are what. I don't know. So we're going to put one of them away. We're going to use the other one. First, we're going to take this brush, and we're going to, you know what, y'all? We're going to take this popping green. We're going to be funky in a good way. We're going to take this shade. So what we say we used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Why am I thinking we use 8 from here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this will be 8. And we're going to use this one. So this excuse me. So that'll be 9 shades. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that'll be 9 shades that we use for this look. Sometimes I do use just 3 shades. If I'm using a palette, or I got shadow on my eye. If I'm using a palette that's like a 9-pan, I may use 4 shades. I may intend to just use like 4, and then sometimes I'll end up using like the entire palette. Because sometimes I'll do 2 different transition shades. So that's like 2 more colors. In lower lash line, I'll use 2 different shades. So it's easy for me to use like 6 to 9 shadows for one look. But when you look at my lid though, everything, it just flows. Like it doesn't look like I did all of that, right? That's a skill. I'm saying that's a skill. How you do a lot and it doesn't look like a lot. A perfect example, even though I don't rock with that family at all. Who is it that does Kim's makeup? Is it Mario or somebody? But I've heard, she has on a ton of makeup, y'all, and it doesn't look like it. That's a skill. And, you know, your products, the brushes you use. And I've heard makeup artists say, oh, yeah, somebody will come in for me to do their makeup. And they'll say, oh, I just want a natural look like Kim Kardashian. And they're like, oh, okay. But then when they turn around, they roll their eyes because the client doesn't realize like how much product that is to do all of that, because it doesn't look like much. Oh, good grief. We're going to take another one of those brushes. I have 4 of those. These are the Fenty 220s. And we're going to take this shade. I don't know if you can see me because I cannot see over my mirror. So apologies if you didn't see. So it's just like, yeah, people have no idea. No idea. And sometimes, like, if someone asks me for a certain look, I'm looking at it thinking, that's not really going to work with their eye shape. And so, of course, you just make adjustments. You know what I mean? But it can be challenging because they're like, I want this. But if they have like hooded eyes and the picture they're showing me isn't of someone with hooded eyes, I'm like, that is not going to look like that. Or if they want a cat eye and they have hooded eyes, it's not going to look like that picture that you're showing me. And so we just make adjustments. But I can say this. I don't let anyone leave my chair until they love their look. And usually they do like it like right away. And if when they're looking, if they're just like, and I'm like, what would you like me to change? And then sometimes it's like nothing. I'm just like, wow, this is really nice. Because I tell them, you know, you're here for a service, a paying service. And so I want you to really enjoy it. And so, but yeah, everyone likes their looks. And if it is something that I need to adjust or fix, then I do that. We're going to go back. We're going to go in with this shadow. And you saw this time I used the sides of the brush where before I went straight in. And we're going to put this under here. And so if they ask me for something and I know that it's not going to work for their eye shape, I'll put a light color there, like one that's there but not there on their complexion, just so they can see. And I'll say, okay, this is what you wanted. Like, what do you think? And they'll be like, well, and that's when I'll go into, you know, the picture you showed me, their face shape was different, the eye shape was different. And so how about we do what you want, but one that will work with your eye shape? And they'll say, oh, okay, yeah. And then when I do it, they're like, oh, wow. So that's something to think about too when you see pictures, or if you are a potential client. This is tearing upward. I can feel it. I can feel it. What brush was that? I think that was this one. So we're just going to just lightly tap, and it's going to keep tearing, but just so it won't look patchy right now. And we're only going to put more on this side because we did this side. Yeah, it's getting wet in there. So, yeah. And even though this didn't do much, it did make it smoky under there, and I like it. Oh, I like it. I like grunge. And I don't do a lot of messy grunge, as much as I say that's my preferred aesthetic. Yeah. So what are we going to do? Upper lash line. We're I think I'm going to use... I want to do a popping liner to do a punk element for this look. But I'm liking the grunginess of this. So I'm thinking, do I want to just be boring and use a brown? This is not brown. This is a red. Maybe I'll do that. But that'll give it like a punk element. So I'm just like, I kind of want to stay with the vibe we have. And I'm thinking of brown lip as well. These are the two lippies from Notoriously Morbid I have not used yet. So we will probably use both of those. So then they can be put away. Shoot. And this is a Lethal Cosmetics eyeliner brush, which has stained. And it's amazing to me that it did that, because this is lethal and this is lethal. Anyway. I do wish that this was a brown. Let's just do it. I'm not going to like it. We're not going to do it. Because I want to just stick with the warmth that this is and the grunginess that this is. And so we're not going to use that. Yeah, I was all set to use it. And we could just go old school and do a black, but I'm going to do a brown. This is the black one, the water activated one. We're going to take MAC's paint pot. Ooh, you know what we could do as well? This isn't a paint pot. This is MAC Fluid Line, and Dip Down is a brown. It's brown. Sometimes I feel like I just got to say it, sing it. But we could just use this as an upper lash line eyeliner. But we're not going to do that. We could do that. Should we do that? No. I'm indecisive right now. Because what I'm thinking about is, it would be easier just to wipe off the shadow. But if I'm going to have to wipe off mascara too, then I might as well just go ahead and just do the work. So this is Zip Down is a brown. MAC's Fluid Line. The fluid lines are designed to be eyeliners. The paint pots, which was what we put on top of the Fenty primer. The paint pots are designed to be shadow bases, but you can use either one for either, and I do use them interchangeably, and that's why I did not get the brown paint pot, because I have this brown fluid line. I didn't get the black fluid line because I have the black paint pot. So you can use them interchangeably. The consistency is different because they are formulated to be different things and to do different things. But you can still use them interchangeably. And sometimes I do use paint pot for a liner. So now we're going to do just a little wing. That's kind of blending in. I do want... I want more color for my upper lash line liner, but I also love the vibe of this. It's just that this brown is blending into the lid shades, but I did it. So what I think I'm gonna do is take Contemplative State and put it an extra wing that is far out past where the shadow is. We're going to fix that. And this one I slope downward. So, all right, we're going to go back to, we're going to take a really thin brush. This is also an Esom brush. This is an Esom V09. We're going to take this brush and we're going to go into this shade, because that was the shade that was all the way, oh shoot, I didn't mean to tap it over there, but since I did, let's do that. Ooh, that's nice. So when you mess up something, it is not a big deal. So you see how this is hanging? There's no shadow right here. A little detailed brush like this one. Look at that. And so, you know, when you quote unquote mess up, and I say that because you can fix it. And so it's not like, oh my gosh, I got to just take the whole thing off and start over. You do not. Do not. We don't scrap looks over here. We will fix it. And it's a learning lesson too. So now look at that. See that? It's not pointy like this one. This is further out. All right, so we tap straight in. So let's bring that out here and then go up. And yes, it does take time though sometimes. This is like way out here because I tapped over there by mistake. But I do like that shape though, like for reals. I like that shape. I'm having shrimps and broccoli for lunch the other day for their lunch specials. I got General's chicken and I got the shrimp and broccoli. And so, because in my mind, I'm like, I'll eat the General's chicken tonight and tomorrow I'll eat the shrimp and broccoli. So I wouldn't have to think. That's nice. So you see that? Yeah. All right, so these are all the brushes I use for this look, y'all. This came from Target. It was in a 2-piece. And so I put brushes in there as I use them, and then I just carry the whole thing, or I just grip all the brushes and just take them into the kitchen to wash them. So, Lancome mascara base. It's called Soul's Booster Mascara Base. But then recently, I've been seeing where it says Soul's Booster Mascara Primer. No, it doesn't. Soul's Booster XL Mascara Base. But lately, I've been seeing the newer ones say Soul's Booster XL Mascara Primer. It both means the same thing. But I was just like, what made them decide to change it? Because it's been base for about the 10 years I've been using it. So I'm just like, why change now? Tower 28. Nick Grace has sent me. This is brown. I love this on my lower lash line. I love this formula. I don't know if it's the formula or the brush or both, but I love this under here. It really makes my lashes stand out. And not that I really care, but I was just like, so look at that. I'm just like, what? And I never would have thought to use a brown mascara. And she has sent this to me, and I like it. They told us in the class, look at that. They told us in the class, don't buy expensive mascaras or because you like the wand for mascara, because for clients we use disposable mascara wands, and so buying a mascara for the wand is irrelevant because you're going to use a disposable mascara wand. So they were like, don't buy it for the wand, buy it for the formula. And I will say the disposable mascara wands are really nice. They do a great job of combing through the lashes. Like I put it at the base and I'll turn the brush as I go, and it really coats the lashes very well. Wow. This is Beyond Mascara from City Beauty. I am on their I am in their partnership program. There are some things that I've liked so much that they sent that I purchased it. And this is one of those things, the Beyond Mascara. And we do get to replenish quarterly. They give us a code for a certain amount off, and we can, repurchase something that we want to repurchase. I will say this, my skin didn't like any of their skincare that I tried. And I let my neighbor try it, because it is expensive stuff. So I'm like, I didn't just want to throw it away. And when I followed up with her, asked how she liked it. She said, I'm going to tell you this. I didn't know I had sensitive skin until I used that stuff. I was like, oh shit. So she let her mom use it. Her mom's skin ain't like it either. So I'm like, I don't know who it's for. But they have good reviews on their website though. But and I do have sensitive skin. My skin is fickle and it wants to be bougie. So my skincare consists of Peter Thomas Roth, a lot of Drunk Elephant, more and more Drunk Elephant, because they send samples and I try something and I'm like, oh, that's nice. But yeah, this is nice. Look at my lashes. My lashes on this side are longer than the ones on this side. So that's why it looks like it's uneven, because that's my features. So we're going to take off some of the lip oil. Thank you for being here with me doing this look today. And I'm going to eat afterwards and couch rot, as Janessa would say. I started watching the movie Desperation on YouTube for free. It's based on a Stephen King book. So we have these two to use. So I'm thinking put this, and both of these are liquid lipsticks. This one has a shift to it. What I'm thinking is to put this one all over and to put this one in the center. This one is Red Wine Supernova. This one is Raven's Mirage. This, I think, would go better with the look of being like that grungy goth type vibe. This one would add some color. So I think they'll both go. We're going to put this all over. And then we're going to tap this on the center and see what happens. I just hit my nose. And you see how I do have a swatch party of these if you want to see. You can check my live stream playlist and or my Notoriously Morbid hauls and fun stuff playlist. It's trippy to me that all of their lip products smell different. Not all of them, but like some of their metallic lipsticks smell different than other metallic lipsticks from them. The matte ones, they seem to have the same scent, but their metallic ones, that is pretty. Their metallic ones, maybe smelling different than each other. One of them smells like burnt toffee. Or did I say it smelled like burnt graham cracker? It was something. I'm like, and they do hand mix their lipstick colors. This is pretty. This reminds me of, no it doesn't, almost of this. This is from City Beauty. They did send this to me. This is raspberry. They have one that's called Holly that looks like this, but it's a brighter red. And they did come out in December, I think, last year, 2 years ago. This is pretty. Wow, that's pretty. That is pretty. We're going to let that dry just a little bit. And then we're going to put this on the center. So then all of these can go home and not just sit out. Because when I get new lippies, I leave them out until I use them to ensure that I'll use them. And then once I use them, I put them with their siblings. I don't want to take the gray too far out, but you see that it needs to be blended. So you're just going to go lightly, very lightly, this feather. And then I end up going further than I want, usually. Because I don't like when you can see the line where it stops, but when I smile, it's not as noticeable. I like this. Oh, man. And you can see them shimmers. Yo, I like the... I like this look. I like this look. So let's do some more pictures now that the face is done. Well, now that the eyes and the lips are done. Do this side. Y'all, this is nice. So we're going to hold up this palette and these lippies. Y'all, I'm digging it. Thank you so much for being here with me today. And I did tell you up front it was going to be long. So these are the lips and this is the palette. Thank you so much. Lots of information down below. You will see me soon. As always, self-acceptance, self-love. That is the Crazy Troll Nation way. And yeah, you'll see me soon. Thanks.